Throughout a pretty up and down year for the Indiana Pacers, Bennedict Mathurin has had one of the most up and down years. He went from an early Rookie of the Year favorite to a mid-season 6th Man of the Year candidate, and now what feels like forgotten. I think the public perception is that he hit the rookie wall and slowed down a lot, but I think that's a really boring way of looking at how much potential and proof that he could be one of the best scorers in the NBA he's shown. Despite a pretty turbulent year for the Pacers, Matheran has never really had a real down part of the year, and I feel like having to play without Haliburton for parts of the season and around so many moving parts has helped prepare Matheran for a lot of what he's going to see and deal with as a high volume scorer in the NBA. Although Matheran was touted as more than just a pure scorer coming out of college, it was his biggest strength and is clearly translated to the league. Although he's slowed down since his pretty ridiculous start to the season, Matheran is still averaging 16.5 points per game and 21.4 points per 75 possessions. This is the third highest among rookies this season, and Matheran has played over 80% of his games off of a bench. One of Matheran's biggest strengths as a scorer has been his incredible finishing ability. Matheran has the same confidence that a lot of veteran volume scorers have attacking the basket, weaving through defenders and boldly absorbing contact on his way to the rim. He isn't afraid of bigger and stronger defenders, inviting the contact. Look here how he just finishes through Mobley's contest for an easy and one, or in another game against the Cavs, how he attacks Mobley again, this time meeting him right in the chest and finishing over Mobley's contest. And these tough finishes are routine for Matheran, blowing right past his defenders before hanging in the air and finishing. Look at how after receiving a pass a bit too late from Nesmith, Matheran confidently absorbs the contact from Gordon and finishes through it. Or hear how he pushes through then off of Kuzma for an easy layup. In this play, he eats multiple hits from Davis on his way to the basket, but maintains focus and is still able to get his shot off and in. When he isn't barreling into bigger defenses, he's sliding right by them or slyly finishing around them. Look at how Matheran bypasses the much larger Karl-Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert by almost windmilling the ball around Gobert's arm and tapping it off the glass. Or, after already selling a hesitation earlier, Matheran sells this quick up and under before floating it right in. His adjustments mid-air and control over the ball are incredibly advanced for a rookie, and like I mentioned earlier, very similar to his high volume scoring peers. He's able to hang mid-air and adjust, jumping at his defender heading one way and then rotating the air to finish in an open pocket. It's reminiscent to me of the jump man himself, Dr. J, or a more modern example, Kyrie Irving. He sort of floats through the air, like I said, gliding through defenders on the way to the basket. Having this incredible vertical and insane amount of air time every time he leaves the floor certainly makes it easier for him to execute these jelly moves in mid-air adjustments. But I don't want to take away at all from how impressive he is with the ball mid-air. I really see the bits of Kyrie pop out in plays like here against Embiid and the Sixers, or how he just floats across the paint in this play against Houston. Another area on the court where he exudes confidence has been his pull-up game. Although he struggled a bit more catching and shooting than Pacers fans would like, he's actually not only been one of the best pull-up shooting rookies, but in the better half of pull-up three-point shooters in the league. Matheran is shooting a ridiculous 37% on pull-up three-pointers, which puts him in the 76th percentile for pull-up three-pointers in the NBA. He quickly and easily settles into his jump shot, unafraid to stop and pop instead of continuing to the basket. Matheran is able to use this as a sort of bailout when the offense dies down or he's running out of time. Rarely are many rookies confident enough to take these shots, yet alone multiple a game, while also rarely do we see many rookies knock down pull-up jumpers like this. Look at how little hesitation there is before he pulls up for this clutch fourth quarter three. Even after recognizing the defense isn't set, it takes a lot of confidence for someone this young to take a shot like this. I think what makes this even more impressive is if you factor in just how difficult Matheran's shots are on a nightly basis. He has both a negative 3-point shot quality and rim shot quality, and his rim shot quality is actually in the bottom 6th percentile in the league. These are incredibly low and explain a lot of Matheran's lower efficiency numbers, and like I said, make a lot of his numbers more impressive. Matheran's ability to not only create shots in these poor scenarios, but make them, is a great sign of the scoring potential he has. And although it hasn't been the biggest jump, since the All-Star break he's increased his rim efficiency by a point and his mid-range efficiency by 8 points. And despite his somewhat poor efficiency from behind the arc, he has been one of the best in the league at creating three-pointers according to Basketball Index, ranking in the 87th percentile, while ranking all the way up in the 92nd percentile for rim shot creation. Matheran has shown the natural ability to create his own shots at a high volume in bad scenarios, something that some of the best scorers in the league have shown from a young age. What also makes Matheran's rim creation so deadly is how relentless he is attacking the basket. He's top 5 in drives per game, and second in drive points per game among his fellow rookies, and in the 80th percentile for drives per 75 possessions and total shots at the rim per 75 possessions. and he's all the way up in the 89th percentile in unassisted rim attempts per 75 possessions. Matherin's ability to finish on drives and also initiate his own, much like the rest of his scoring game, is already closer to his peers than expected from a 20-year-old. In this play, Matheran blows by Bull, and look at how far Wagner is playing off McConnell in this double team. Yet Matheran maintains control of the ball and finds this tiny little pocket he's able to sneak it up through. This creativity is present in a lot of Matheran's drive possessions. He's able to make a lot of micro adjustments and quick moves on the fly. A lot of that finesse and control that Matheran shows finishing near the rim in midair, he shows driving towards the basket as well. Look at how in control he is getting to and using his spin move versus O'Neal. And this isn't the only time he's used that move, executing it just as well in the fourth quarter versus Atlanta for a go-ahead bucket with less than a minute left. The stats back this up too. Matheran ranks in the 70th percentile for turnovers a game and in the 85th percentile for turnovers per 75 possessions. He also excels at getting to the free throw line. Matheran attempts nearly 6 free throws a game and is in the 90th percentile in drive foul drawn rate. Much like with the rest of his finishing game, Matheran stays undeterred on his way to the basket and bruises through contact like it's a nothing. He makes full use of his 210-pound frame, taking hits from much bigger players and absorbing them on his way to the basket. All these small elements combined together give Matheran an impressive driving game, and like I've said almost a million times before, one that is already way ahead of his peers. He could so quickly get a full head of steam on his way to the basket, exploding towards the rim and through his defenders, reaching the basket before players way ahead of him. Look here how two Atlanta defenders have a decent amount of space on Matheran, but in a second, he eliminates that space and is at the apex of his layup by the time Hunter finally raises his arm. Like I mentioned in my last video about Jalen Brunson, having this ability to motor on and motor off on demand is an excellent tool for guards to have, and Matheran has already shown a lot of talent and potential in this area. All of this video hasn't even mentioned the fact that Matheran plays with Haliburton, one of the best playmakers in the league who's only 23 years old. I've heard people call this duo the next Magic Johnson and James Worthy, and I actually think that's a really good comparison. Matheran fills the lane and finds holes in the defense a lot like Worthy, and both have mesmerizing finishing moves and contortions around the basket. Worthy was a beast in the fast break. It was a big contributor to the Showtime Lakers running teams right out of the building. His quick first step, built frame, and long arms made him a matchup nightmare for opposing teams. And while Matheran doesn't possess all of those natural gifts that Worthy had, he has a lot of the game sense and spatial awareness that helped Worthy be a key part of that Lakers dynasty. Matheran is great at securing his defender behind him, while finding areas to leak out behind them. Look at this play, how Matheran keeps an arm near Powell's chest, and the second he gets in front of him, he explodes to the basket. He routinely uses this move to create space for easy cuts when he isn't full sprinting towards the rim. Matheran, much like Worthy did, will continue to benefit from playing next to a generational playmaker in Tyrese Haliburton. In his rookie year, Haliburton and him have already seemed to have a real connection and are an open break nightmare. I think Bennedict Mathurin has continued to have one of the most impressive rookie campaigns, even if he slowed down in the second half of the season. He's shown a lot of mechanics that some of the best pure volume scorers have showcased and already looks comfortable in a lot of new and difficult situations for a 20-year-old. He has a lot of small elements of his game that I like too that can also help him develop into a more well-rounded player. He actually has shown really good vision in the pick and roll, floating it right where the big man wants it or zipping it outside. He has a knack for finishing putbacks over bigger defenders and just being in the right place at the right time. And Matheran has shown all the tools to be a solid perimeter defender, and he's actually a pretty exceptional rim defender for his size and age. Matheran ranks in the 97th percentile for rim points saved per 75 and in the 91st percentile for rim defensive field goal percentage versus expected. I think a lot of the reason Matheran hasn't trended up all season as ridiculously as he did at the beginning is a lot of bad luck and just a poor system surrounding him. When Indiana has been healthy and played great basketball, Matheran has been a key part of that and showed just how perfectly he fits next to Tyrese Haliburton. And I, for one, am excited to see how high he and this Indiana team can fly. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. As always, thank you for watching, and peace.